Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Tuesday, the 20th of August, run in association with KUMB.com. Now, today we are going to be chatting about 9 different players that could be offloaded potentially before the transfer window closes, our ongoing solo pursuit, and the potential signing of another striker. So for your first story, the Times Sport have reported that West Ham are open to offloading 9 different players before the transfer window closes on August the 30th. So these 9 players are Coufal, Zouma, Aguerd, Mavropanos, Ward-Prowse, Cornet, Soucek, Ings and Antonio. So we now have a lot of competition for the places in our team. As we all know, so if these players aren't going to be in our starting lineup, it could be pretty mutually beneficial in some cases to part ways with them going elsewhere to go and get game time that they want, and us getting them off our wage bill to save on the pennies and allow us to invest in the players that are going to be a big part of our future in the coming seasons. So Ings and Antonio both have a season left on their contract, or a year left on their contract, would be how a normal person would say that. So now would be the time to cash in on them. But we know that Ings' high wages and both of their ages make them more difficult to move on, as they will go on a free next year. So it's a new challenge that as we've brought in so many different players that we no longer have that small squad that we used to, and this makes it a lot less likely that these players are going to get games, especially with the lack of European football, meaning there are even less games for us to now share around. So the best bit of business would be to get rid of any players of those that we can, and if we're confident that we don't need them for squad depth this season, then that should be a good move. Plus, if we're already working on January signings, which I reckon we probably are behind the scenes, then we could potentially have backups ready to come in should we get injuries in a certain position, and it will just give us that money, that cash flow to be able to keep investing for a positive upcoming season. But the question I have for you is, would you be disappointed to see any of these players leave, or are you happy if any of them go, if it works out in our favour financially? Let us know in those comments. Now, for your second story, our pursuit of PSG midfielder Carlos Soler continues as we look to accelerate things another step. So L'Equipe is now reporting that in terms of an agreement, we are actually discussing this with the French side, having overtaken Brighton in an attempt to get Soler's signature. So it's also being reported that if we can agree personal terms with Soler, then it could put a bit of pressure on and push PSG to lower their price tag, as Soler's intentions will be made clear, and it could make it harder for the Ligue 1 side to negotiate. Their concern is that if they hold out for their original price, Soler could become frustrated or could push for a move, and things could get a little bit less ideal on their side, which would work in our favour. So we'll be keen to get this deal signed as soon as possible. Brighton are also keen, and we all know that they're quite good at sourcing talented players. So it means that we might be on the tracks for a very good signing with Soler. But can we get this one over the line to make it even better this transfer window? Can you believe we've made all these signings and we're still talking about players from PSG coming to West Ham potentially? Absolutely madness. Watch this space. And now for your final story, Dharmesh from Sky Sports has hinted that West Ham could be in the market for another striker, depending on our departures. So he suggested that should Ings leave, we could look to bring in one more. However, unless Antonio goes, I don't know which players would be open to coming in behind Fulkrug, who we've just purchased for 27 million, as well as battling with Antonio for second choice. So it'll be an interesting one to see who we could bring in. And it would also be interesting to see how much we would spend on somebody that isn't going to probably be first choice. But I'm still hoping we can get Duran on a loan to buy. But given our current spend, I'm not sure I can see it coming off. If he knows he's going to play second fiddle to Ollie Watkins, we could try and lure him over. But unless we can give him game time assurances better than he already has at Villa, I just don't know if he'd be interested. And as we saw when we played Villa, he gets a little bit of time for them, and he's already had a good start to the season, unfortunately. So yeah, you can dream. We can all dream. But would you like to see Duran in claret and blue? Let us know as well down below in that comment section. So there you have it. Those have been your Hammers headlines for today. As always, there is a lot happening at West Ham and we still have another 10 days before the transfer window comes to a close. But do you think we're done this window, or do we have time to get in another 1 or 2 players to strengthen our squad even more? Let us know in the comments section. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already and if you've enjoyed it. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And whether you've been here for a while or this is your first time finding us on West Ham Network, turn those notifications on so you never have to miss a video. That is all from me for today. Stay tuned for more content coming tomorrow. And until next time, have a great day. Come on, you Irons.